Hi there, Ram here from Expert On, and today we're going to be talking about Alesis, the MultiMix, MultiMix4 and the MultiMix8USBfx. And yes, they're new once again. So they've been around for a while, but they've changed them up a little bit, and it has to do with the audio software package that's included to interface with your computer. So today we're going to quickly unbox them by doing this, no box, and so, what are we talking about? We're talking about pretty boxes with really nice mixers inside the boxes. When you buy it, they come in the box. When you get it home, you take it out of the box. So, what's going on? When you open it up, you will find an instruction manual. And inside or on top of that instruction manual, you will find a new software package option being offered with it, which is, and included now, is ProTools First, the Alesis edition. So that means they bundle it up with some of their other products, but that's what you're getting now. You had Cubix before. Cubix, there's nothing wrong with Cubix. People like Cubix. People also like ProTools, but now they've switched to ProTools. Outside of that, there's not a lot that's really changed about it. Yes, they both offer phantom power. They both offer full knob control. They also offer a high Z guitar option on it, and very straightforward to operate. I often use the Alesis as a go-to mixer when I'm doing projects or showing how things work because they have an awful lot of features all bundled up at a real reasonable price. As quality and reliability goes, Alesis is part of a large family of brands owned by InMusic, and they do an awful lot of work to give the consumer, you, as much as possible. I like selling it because a lot of people enjoy buying it. They buy it, it does what they want it to do, and it works out really, really well. So we're going to do a quick comparison between the two models, and then we'll do some follow-ups where we talk about the differences and really, most importantly, the overall features, the why. Why are they so popular for their packages? This is the 4. We'll move that over here. This is the 8. Now, when you buy them, you might think that, well, I'm just buying a little bit of differences, not very much. One's a 4-channel, one's an 8-channel, but there are a few little things that we will get into detail about, and it's what's going to happen on the 8 versus the 4. Now, on the 8, our EQ is broken up with 4 knobs. Now, it does have a high and a low, and it does have a mid, but their mid has a frequency crossover, so we can choose the exact frequency we'd like to have. That's really exciting on the 8. Because from any other manufacturer that I've seen, you're going to triple the price at least before you get that kind of an option. So that's a big, big plus. Also, it's how their effects and their auxiliary monitor work. That's the red buttons down here. It splits it up so this way I can either use 2 monitor options off of one system, or I can actually control them individually with the built-in effects. So again, a real nice feature. Most of the time you get one or the other, not necessarily both. So again, this price, you'd at least double that to really start seeing that in a lot of other machines. Also, pan. If we were to make a list of the top 10 features of things you want to check off and say, do I get this, do I get that? We've so far hit at least 3 of them or 4. The pan option's a big one because besides being able for me to determine if I want to have my music more to the left or right, or maybe I'm using it for live streaming or podcasting, I want to be able to shift my audio depending on if I have a guest with me or not. You're going to want to have that. Now on the USB side, because it does have USB and it does have a 4800 kilohertz audio interface built into it with 2 channels going out and 2 channels coming back in. So don't be upset because 4800 kilohertz, that's CD quality. So if you are going to be using it for podcasts or anything like that, or live streaming, CD quality is awesome. I mean, even if you're going to edit it, if you're not applying a whole ton of effects to it, which by the way, up until a few years ago, this was it. This is how everybody did it. You are basically going to be cutting and fading out, that sort of thing, kind of like what I do here. That's all going to be available through this machine with that software. I think that's a really great add-on. Now, getting back to the pan option, in conjunction with that, as I remember I said it's 2 channels out. It's a left channel and a right channel. There's our 2 channels out. So if I wanted to make this a discrete, independent 2-channel system, I can just simply turn one mic, the first one, all the way to the left, and I can turn the second one all the way to the right. Now when I record on my computer, I'll have 2 dedicated audio tracks for each person. One on the left side, one on the right side. Then I can basically cut and seam that all together the way I want. And then on top of that, I can then take that audio package, put it together, and then duplicate it in the software. It's a lot of software talk, but what that allows me to do is bring it all together and then make an actual track that's going to play both left and right on both channels. So there you go. That's some of the stuff you can do with it. So again, other things that are important about the MultiMix8USBfx is the fact that we have gain controls for the first 4 channels, and the fact that we have cutoff points which are set at 80 Hertz on the first 4 channels, and on channel number 2 we even have the high Z option for the guitar. XLR and 1/4 inch option, so microphones always go on top. I don't care what kind of plug you have. You got a mic, it goes up on top. You get yourself an adapter, you get yourself proper cable, plug it in up there. Anything that's line input, so if it's not a microphone, it'll be a line input if it's an instrument with a high Z function. Again, guitar, it's the impedance that's different, so that's why it's important to have it. Will it work? Probably, but not so good if you don't have that option to it. That's what's going to go on here. And it even has 2 inserts, so if you have an effects box or something you want to process your signal through as a separate standalone item, you can use. And this, again, not something you're going to see at this price point. You're going to normally spend maybe $50, maybe $100 more before you start seeing this, and it's usually not on an 8-channel mixer. It'll be on something smaller. But you get 2 inserts on this unit here. So again, big pluses. What we'll do is take a closer up look, this one in a second, but then we'll move over to this guy. So we'll also do a real up close look at the whole thing. But again, the important things are channel 2 still has the high Z functionality. We still have gain options. We have a 2-band EQ, so no mid-range control, high and low, plus of course without that mid-range we're not going to have that crossover point. But we still get our pan option, and we still get our effects or monitor setting with the red knobs. Now notice it's all combined into one, not 2 like we see on the 8. Still all the knob functionality, less buttons. There's only 1 main button, and that is, the button is going to be for an external USB to main. So basically the audio that's playing is going to come out into the main. We're going to get to do a lot more of USB functions when we look again at the 8. So that's what's going on here. So why don't we take a real close-up look at the 8, cover all the knobs and buttons on it, so this way we can see all the little extra features that are on the unit. Now remember, these are great units if you're looking at, if you're, you know, a 2-piece band, great way to go. If you're looking to do live, like a Facebook Live or YouTube Live, or maybe a podcast, good way to go. Again, we're not looking for music where I'm going to go back and I'm going to edit everything. Then I probably want to get just an audio interface that incorporates a lot of that into it. But if I want to hook up a lot of things at once, or I need to share it and I'm on a bit of a budget, pretty good way to go. So remember, at any point in time, if you're looking for any of the equipment that you're seeing in the video here, you can certainly go down, look down below. You'll find links to our website here in Canada, but you'll also find, for all our American customers, our links to Amazon.com. That's our affiliate page. That's how you get to support this channel, through those links. And of course, every time you view this video, I want to say thank you for taking the time. So here we are, up close look at what's actually going to go on here. So color coding is what it's all about when it comes to all the knobs in operation on here. Now remember, if you are going to use this as an audio interface, doesn't matter that it's 8 channels, there's only 2 of them that we're going to be able to use, have an actual dedicated recording. Now you could choose at the same time to say, I'm going to put everybody else on the right side so it records on channel 2, and I'm going to have just channel 1 to myself. That allows you to at least predominantly keep your audio track, and then you can edit out whatever you want with the other audio track. Now the USB functionality is going to be related to the master out. So if I do plan on plugging this into an interface, I'm going to treat this meter like I do all the time. I'm not 100% involved in this knob location-wise, but I am going to be looking at my dynamic meter up on top. I want to be floating around the 0 here and around 0 or -3 on my audio interface. And I'll show you in a minute how we plug those two in together. Now again, back to the actual knobs on the unit. The first two give us a lot of detail because we do have a crossover point for the mid-range, like I was saying earlier. That's going to be all the blue knobs. So we're going to get into what the top knob is called, and that's the send. So send affects post. Post means after EQing. So this is going to be after what's going on the EQ, and that is going to allow us to choose our effects, which is this knob up on top here. That's what's going on there. That's how we have it. Now, if I'm going to use some of the functions on top, like the return option, they do give me a return knob down here to line up with the send knob here. Now, the next one is the auxiliary, which is titled Auxiliary Pre. So that's pre everything above it. That is basically straight what's going on up here, and it's going to be sent out here. So now this is not EQ'd. This is all set, ready to come out of my monitor, and then I have a dedicated monitor output. Now on my top 10 list, this is really nice. I have a headphone knob, so my headphone jack being there, I have a headphone knob here. My monitors here, I have my main monitors here, which is really nice because now I have 3 different ways of controlling this unit for output. Now I have 2 buttons laid out on top of the main. So the first one, it says, has a picture of a USB connection, and it says a 2-track USB to monitor. So that's referring to the audio coming in. If I push that button in, that means that if I need a backtrack or I'm overlaying some new audio and I need to listen to what I'm actually talking against or singing against, so this way I have my backtrack to go against, I can engage that and it'll allow me to then have, let's say, an updated conversation, or if I need to do some fill-in, or if I'm singing along with the track that I have, I can do that, send it back out, and record it again. Now, I also have the option, if I'm singing live and I want to sing with backtrack, I can press the next button right here where it says 2-track/USB to main. So if I need a backtrack to sing along with live, I would then push that button, and that means whatever's going on is going to come out with this guy. That's what's going on here. So again, nice way to give you the options to have everything you want. Now, this button here, pretty straightforward, main to monitor. So basically, if I push that in, whatever's going on here is also going to be sent to the actual monitors. That's what's going on. So that's what main to monitor refers to. So remember, 2 knobs up here. One is to control your overall gain output or volume output of your auxiliary input, so everything going on here. That'll be able to come out here. And then this is going to control any audio that's coming in via the return. So if I'm using an external effects box or anything to process the sound, and I've chosen to use it instead of the built-in effects, so that's all these knobs. So as I adjust these knobs, it will affect the signal level coming out of the aux send, which is way up on top here. And then we have left and right return. Again, left and right return being affected right here. There we go, and that covers everything here. I do like the fact that it does have a meter that's set up with at least 5, so we get 3 in the green from -24 all the way to 0, and then we have clip on top. Try and avoid the clip if necessary. The gain controls are right up on top, and the gain controls are connected to the peak lights at the bottom. So if we're bringing it up too much, we're going to start seeing peak indication, and then we can back off a little bit. And that covers all the features. Again, we've got the low cut 80 Hertz, the guitar, which is also known as high Z, and then again the low cuts on all the rest of them. Big feature was, like I was mentioning earlier, is the inserts on the top. Line 5, 6, and 7, and 8 are just 1/4 inch. Then we have 2-track in and out. I'll be honest, pretty much useless today. If you're hooking up some old equipment to it, great. If you have to hook it up to an old soundboard, there you go. Normally, if I really need to have something that's plugged in via a RCA connection, I use these guys here. As you notice, they're already plugged into my monitor out. That can go here, and I can plug things in via RCA depending on what I have. Maybe I have a CD player, maybe I have other audio equipment that just runs off of RCA. That can go in here, no problem. If I'm using it for karaoke, and I'm going to do a hardwire connection to something, these are the adapters you're looking for. There you go. So the effects, there are, if I'm not mistaken, 16 in total. We'll list them down below for you in the breakdown, but that's what's going on here. And then remember, you do have effects control. A lot of people do like using it for karaoke, and if you're using it for any small band use, it's nice to be able to have the effects right there and for you to be able to dial it in. That covers everything on the MultiMix 8 USB. Now remember, it's ProTools now. To be exact, it is the ProTools first Alesis edition. That's what's included. So let's take a look at the 4-channel. And here we go, the Alesis MultiMix4USBfx. Again, new model with the ProTools. As I said before, ProTools first, Alesis edition. Very straightforward machine, very good because again, it has a lot of features. If you're gonna do any live videos and you plan on playing a guitar or any instrument like that, remember this model has 2 mic inputs with a high Z. Also has phantom power on it as well, just like the 8. Gain controls in the first 2 options, 2-band EQ located right here, again, still in blue. And then we have our effects set up right across the bottom. Pan options still, so this way, just like the 8, if I decided I wanted to use the USB option output as an audio interface with the ProTools software, and I want to dedicate my channels, I would just go left and right. By the way, there's nothing wrong with actually leaving them in the middle and having mix, but just remember, whatever happens on channel 2 or channel 3 or 4, along with 1, will all be recorded at the same time, overlaid on all the 2 channels that are going into your computer. Here we have 1 button option, so we don't have as many options as we do on the 8, but you do have an external USB 2 main. So if I press that, it is now going to play out of the mains. So that's how I bring my 2 channels back into the system. Again, my effects, same as the 8. We'll be able to select and choose what we want, and then we'll be able to choose and select what actual level we want to have them played at. That's what's going on right here. That's everything on this unit. When we look at the inputs again, we've got 2 XLRs, mic only up on top. That's what you want to do here. Everything else is going to go through the line inputs. Those are going to be a 1/4 inch on line 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your guitar is going to go on that line too. Your main out to run your main speakers, your headphone. Oh, right. And also, this has an AUX, an auxiliary input, which basically overlays on top of the USB, which is why it says EXT. It's your external input, your auxiliary. If I bring this on, it is now going to be overlaid on top of my main out, and of course the headphones at the same time. So that's the input. Some other companies, I'll be honest, out there would have called this a 6-channel, not a 4, because they would have looked at this as being, oh, another 2 channels. But in reality, they stuck with a reasonable number. This is a 4-channel mixer, and that's the proper name with a little icing on the cake there. Remember, that's going to be coming in the same input as the USB, so I'd have one or the other, and probably not both recommended. And that is the Alesis MultiMix4USBfx. So now we've taken a close look at both of these machines. Let's talk a little bit about some of the overall features of use and who might like to use it and why. First of all, we get one thing out of the way. This stand right here is going to be linked down below. It goes to our Amazon affiliate page in the US and to our website here in Canada. This stand is called a PL-PTS55. And it's super affordable. It tilts up, tilts down. I use it all the time in my videos. We'll see how many people ask for comments down below on what is that stand you're using. It's a PL-PTS55. It's from Pyle. It's very popular. Everybody likes using it because it does all kinds of fun things with it. It's a laptop stand. We always put mixers on it because that's what we like to do. So there we go. Magically, a Tascam US 2x2 has appeared in front of us. Now, why is this here when we're talking about Alesis mixers? We're going to talk about connecting an audio interface that's twice as good as the audio interface that's inside of here and using this guy instead. Now, this can be for any mixer you have. You're going to want to have a couple of, in this case, 1/4 inch bounce or unbounce. They're 6-foot cables. I'm not going to fuss over bounce or unbounce, but I know lots of people are. If you have balance, use balance. Balance means that you're going to have 3 breaks here. That's to help with noise cancellation. But all you're going to need to do is make sure all your equipment's off. You're going to come here and we are going to go main out, plug the 2 cables in to main out. Now, just like a mixer and audio interface, this particular one has combo jack, so instead of having a separate XLR and a separate line jack, it has combo jacks. Now, I'm going to plug my left channel 1, my right into channel 2, and in this case, I am going to briefly take a look-see and see that it's set to mic line, because that's the way this particular machine's set up. I don't need my phantom power on, and again, I'm going to be paying attention to my meters. I want to first bring this unit up with the levels down, so that way we're close to dynamic, to 0, unity on the machine, and then I'm going to repeat that function over here. And now we're all set. Of course, plug this in via USB, and a lot of people need this. One, they want more quality out of their machine. Maybe they have some older equipment that requires a MIDI interface, and they want to plug that in, so this way all their equipment's controlled as one big unit, and that would be another reason to do this. So that's what's going to happen. Now for sound quality, remember, if I'm doing a lot of talk and talk only, I'm going to be happy with this. I'm not going to be upset about having that. If I have to add a lot of effects, if I have to do a lot more alterations with the voice, for singing of course, that's where having a machine that's twice as good as this one. So again, 4800 kilohertz, 9600 kilohertz. These are now even available at 192 kilohertz. So if we were to put that in perspective to, well, what's that like? This, we'll call it like a Blu-ray player. So, you know, watching TV when we first got, you know, digital, you know, DVD players, that would be here. Then we got Blu-ray, which was, ooh, wow, look at all that quality. It's 4 times better, 5 times better image-wise, even though, you know, the resolution just jumped up so much. That's what's going on here. And now, with the introduction of 192 kilohertz, that's like ultra high def. That's like 4K. So that's the difference between audio sound quality in relationship to, let's say, video, which we're quite common because we watch TV all the time, right? So that's going to be the differences between them. Now, at the end of the day, you probably only still want CD quality sound. So you're going, why do I pay all the extras for all of that, and why is that number important to me? That's pretty much how you're going to be able to really, really get into a lot of work on your computer and then still end up with a quality that's going to be as good as, if not better than, CD. So that's really what it comes down to. So if you're going to be doing a lot of post-production work and you're thinking, well, that's what I'm going to be focusing on, then you definitely want to have something that runs faster and with more details. So the bit rate will be higher and the kilohertz will be higher. So that's really what you're looking for there. Again, I wouldn't be shy to say that these are some of my favorite mixers because they do so much. Again, that's why you see these type of mixers in a lot of my videos when I'm hooking things up. No, they don't have MP3 players or Bluetooth or anything like that. But if you're actually working with them and you've got to do a lot of recording, a lot of audio, a lot of stuff for, you know, YouTube like I do, these are really nice to work with. So for the mixers, what we'll do is we'll see if we can't actually hook them up to a laptop and show you some of the connections, because getting them on the USB is, for some people, really easy. Some people miss the small things because the sound quality of the USB cards that are built into our laptops today, it's like a drop in a barrel compared to the video quality. And also because normally all we do with our laptop is turn up and down the volume, we don't realize where the actual sound cards lie. And when you plug a unit like this in, there's always something you want to do before. It doesn't matter what brand you buy, but this is important. Just like an audio interface, you want to go to Alesis' website. You want to find the model of mixer you bought or any model that you have, and you want to see if there's a new updated driver package for it. That's really important. With that new updated driver package or the driver package alone, downloading that and installing that into your computer tells your computer to get ready for the fact that you're about to plug in a very smart, sophisticated audio interface. Doesn't matter which brand you buy. It gives your computer the brains and power to do its job properly. So always check before you race off to tear up the USB cable and plug it in. check the manufacturer's website. See if they have a driver package. That'll make your life so much better. Okay, so here we are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to purposely click on the speaker so we see this is the sound card from the Alesis. I'm going to unplug it, and it's going to default back to the built-in sound card in the actual laptop. So if I plug the actual sound card back in, this is the USB cable that comes included from the actual mixer, it automatically switches. Now if this doesn't happen, just click on the actual choice. Click up above. If you still see your built-in sound card or nothing changed when you actually plugged in your sound card, just click on here. You'll get options. You'll be able to come down here and go to the USB audio sound card. It's a codecs format. That's good. You've done it. Now you're actually listening to and working back to the actual Alesis. Now if we come up to the top here, we're going to see a couple of boxes right across. First one here, it says line. It's a little picture of a microphone. It says line. That's what we want. So I can choose between the actual one built in and the line. So we're going to take that line option straight from there. Now, because I've actually plugged my headphones into the actual mixer, my speaker output is going back to the mixer. I could have left that as the built-in, that sort of thing, but no, I chose to have it go back, which also meant I had to push a couple of buttons. So on the mixer, I had to push the monitor button and also the USB button on the headphone, so this way I can hear both of them. That's these two options right here. That's the top button, and that is this button right here. So by choosing those two buttons, I've now chosen to listen to and overlay that on my main, so I can hear it at the same time. That's now what's coming out of my headphones. Now, if I don't want to hear my recording playback, then I would just turn this function off here, and that would just be my voice looping back in through the system. And the delay is minimal. I mean, I couldn't hear it at all. I know it's there because there is just a subtle sound coming off the headphones that I could tell. There's maybe 5 milliseconds, maybe 7, I don't know. Remember, milliseconds is like feet. It's like having somebody 5 feet away from you or 7 feet away from you, that kind of delay. So it's not much to worry about. So back to here. Outside of that, all I had to do was get my mixer up to Unity dynamically, and then that would bring across here. So if I actually click up on the top right here, and I can actually now talk straight in to my condenser microphone because I have fan and power on. This is plugged in channel 1. There we go. I have my pan set up to left and right, so now I'm actually getting it both. Now remember, like I was saying earlier, if I wanted to, I could pan to just the left side. Now guess what? That's only the left side. If I had another mic, I can pan that one to the right. And I can go the other way around. I can do that as well. So if I wanted both, right down the middle. Now, this is always going to record in pairs because it sees 2 active channels. So what happens is when I hit record, boom, we're going to come up here and I'm going to start seeing that record. This is exactly what we're doing right now. This is what's happening on the screen. Now notice it's on both. Now, if I change this, what should happen now is there we go. We only have 1 channel recording because I've gone to the left. Now, as I bring it up and swing across, you're going to notice I'm only going to be on the 2nd channel at the bottom. So that's how that one's going to work for you there. Now, it didn't really matter, but I do normally put this either at 44,100 or at 4,800. It seems to be fine. The mixer does operate at 4,800 kilohertz and 16 bits. So normally you want to make sure that lines up. And that's pretty much it. So if I come back here and hit the stop button, I should be able to hit the playback, and that file is going to play over again from the beginning. Notice instead of this side, we're now on this side here. That's it. That's all we had to do. There was nothing more complicated than that. I would also do this on ProTools, but that means I would have to burn somebody else's license to do that, and I don't have a sample account. So we're not going to. We'll just leave it on here because, of course, everybody can enjoy Audacity for free. So and there you go. I know there's going to be a ton of questions, and these mixers are going to come back up in other videos. So they're going to appear when we do monitors. They're going to appear when we're doing speakers. They're always going to be around when we try out headphones, that kind of stuff. You'll see these mixers come back quite often along with some of the other ones. But for now, that's pretty much it. We will have some Q&As coming up real shortly, and then that's going to be followed up with, yes, excitingly enough, we are going to be starting to talk about all the new Mackie monitors They're 5, they're 8, they're 6, they're 8-inch subwoofer. I mean, we've got a bunch of boxes from Mackie that we just bought, and we have a whole bunch of audio interfaces. So that'll be some of the next videos coming up. But for now, I want to say thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.